Hi everyone, welcome back. In this lesson, we are going to cover the gradients. First, I'm going to create a rectangle like this so we can apply the gradient to it. We have the gradient section over here. If you don't have it, go to the window and enable the gradient just like this. I have it over here. There are a couple of ways that you can add gradient to your objects or to your shapes. So we can add the gradient over here. Just click on this area and it will be added. I'll just Command Z or Control Z. You can add it from here as well. Command Z. And you can also add it from these swatches. I'll just undo it again with the Command or Control Z. And we have this gradient tool as well. I'm not going to cover this now. Let's go to the gradient and click on this area. Like this, we added a gradient to our shape. And the gradient is a mixture between two colors or more. We have three types of gradient inside Illustrator. We have linear, radial, and also freeform. The freeform is a new thing that Illustrator added. It may not be available if you have an older version of Illustrator. Right now we are in the linear, and linear works like this. It's a horizontal mixture of colors, and over here we have the angle of the colors, and then like this you can move the color around. You can move their position. You can double click on it and add a color from the swatches that you have. And you can also come over here and change the color of this point or this color stop. And then double click on this one. I'm going to change this as well. And over here you have the opacity. For example, if I want to make the opacity of this one around 30 or 20, now the right side of this shape is transparent and we can see through. Okay, let me make it 100 again, and then we have the location. It will determine the location of your color stop. This is useful when you want to have an accurate gradient color. You can use this option. If you move your mouse over this area, you will see a plus button. Just click on it. Like this, we added a new color stop, and we can change the color just like this. We can add as many color stops as we want. Just like this, I added two new color stops to our gradient. And of course, this color stop will work for the radial as well. Let's go to the linear. And now let's use the gradient tool. You can enable it from over here, edit the gradient, or you can just click on the gradient tool like this. Now we have the gradient tool inside the artboard and on our shape. And we can do everything that we were able to do it in the gradient section. All of the options that you have over here, you have them over the gradient tool as well. You can mix the colors like this. You can remove the colors, just click on it and drag it down. And you can do the same over here. Just click on the point, move it down or up to remove, just like this. You can do a lot of things with the gradient tool actually. If you click and drag, you will determine the spread of your gradient and also the angle of the gradient. Just like this, you can add new points, you can change the color. And you can also make it bigger or smaller, and you can rotate it just like this. I mean, you have the full control over your gradient with the gradient tool. Now if we move to the radial gradient, we will have something like this. Just like the linear gradient, you have the full control over it, but for this one, for the radial gradient, you have something like circle. You can stretch it like this, and you can control it over here as well. And just like the other one, you have the full control over it. Change the color, add new colors, and then you can move it around. You can move the peak, make it longer like this, or change the direction. What if you want to save our gradient and use it for the later use? You can do that like this. Make sure that you select the object that you have gradient in, and make sure that you have direct selection tool selected. Then go to these swatches and click on this plus button. Click on it and save your gradient like this. Now we have this gradient. If I remove this one and create a new one, just like this, I'll go to the swatches and boom, we have our gradient on our new shape. Then we can go to the gradient tool and change anything that we want from this one. We can change it to the linear, and we can move these around. We can also swap the colors if you want with this button. Now I'm going to remove this one, and we will go to the third type of the gradient, which is the freeform. I'll create a circle, and we are going to add the freeform, which is this one. And as I said, if you have an old version of Illustrator, you may not have this option. So the first thing, we have the points. We will make the points and add the color for each point. Just like this, you will just click to add new points. And you can add as many points as you want. This gradient tool is very useful when you want to make colorful shapes and also something like Gaussian style. With each of these color points, we have a circle around them that controls the space that they will take. So the circle is this, and you can expand it just like this. When you want to change a color, of course, you will double click on the point to change it like this. Perfect. Until now, we were playing with the points. But we have something else with the freeform. We have lines actually. You can draw a line just like this, and with each click you will have a color point. I'm actually going to remove this circle. I will make a new one so we can test these lines on a blank circle. I will just remove this one, create a new empty circle, and then go to the freeform, choose lines, and now we can draw our line around this circle. And then with each click we have a point. Double click on them to change their color. By the way, you can draw as many lines as you want. Right now we have one line and we are changing the color of it. But of course, you can add as many lines as you want. And not only this, you can actually add points as well. Now we have a line and we can add different points and change their colors. Like this, we can create a very complex mixture of colors and a very unique mixture of colors. Until now, we were adding this gradient to the fill, but you can do the same thing with the stroke. Now I'm going to remove this one, and we are going to create a new shape to add the gradient to the stroke. I'm going to create a rectangle like this and increase the width of the stroke. I have the previous color on it. If you want to reset, click on this icon. Now let's create our rectangle again. I just removed it and created it again. Now increase the width of the stroke. Go to the gradient, make sure you click on the stroke over here, and then click on this area. Now we have added the gradient to the stroke. And you can do all of the things that we are able to do with the fill. Now it's time for you to go ahead and play with these gradients and create some colorful shapes. This is the end of this lesson. Hope you enjoyed and learned something new. I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye bye.